I had the pleasure of recently interviewing the president of the Rotary Club of St. Kitts, Ms. Sonia Parry. Let's take a look at what she said. Speaking with Sonia Parry, the president of 7030.
Rotary Club of St. Kitts?
Rotary Club of St. Kitts.
From District 7030.
District 7030. Let me get that clear.
Yes.
All righty. So, once again, as I said, welcome to Good Morning SKN. I see that you had a lovely meeting here today where you hosted 7040 and
7430.
70 and 7430. Yes, I was making sure. Okay. So how did this merge come about today?
Well, some of it was quite fortuitous, but let me begin with what was planned. So you'll be speaking next with two Rotarians who are visiting us from the state of Pennsylvania in the United States of America. Cindy met our past district governor, Trevor Blake, at an international conference in Houston last year. They got to talking. She said she'll visit. He said, sure, come on down. And they're here. And then while at the Marriott, they ran into two Rotarians who just happened to be visiting St. Kitts from New York and invited them to our meeting. So that's how we ended up having a merged meeting today.
Oh, that is so sweet. So did you think that you got the outcome of what you planned for this meeting today?
Without a doubt. It was really meant to be an opportunity for our visiting Rotarians to share with the broader membership of the club some fun facts about not only the state in which they live, but also their respective clubs and their district, and to give us a flavor of what is in store for us when we visit them.
And when is that visit scheduled for? Anytime soon?
We have no idea at the moment, but we will be planning it hopefully soon.
Okay, so I know the Rotarians that I will speak to soon, I won't delve in too much. They started some projects. Would your district be continuing or completing these projects?
Well, what I can say is that while our colleagues in Rotary were visiting us, we executed two projects. Phase one of our dictionary project. So for the last 8 years or so, the Rotary Club of St. Kitts has donated a dictionary to each student in third grade on the islands of both St. Kitts and Nevis. As a result of COVID, we were not able to execute that project for the last 2 years, so this is a resumption. On Wednesday morning, we went to 6 schools, and we handed out dictionaries to the third graders there. And our friends from Pennsylvania accompanied us. Well, let me back up. On Tuesday evening, they helped us to package the dictionaries, and then on Wednesday morning, they helped with the distribution. In addition, on Sunday morning, we got together at my home and we created 20 care packages, which are basically a basket of basic food items. And then we went on the road to various homes to donate those care packages to persons who the Ministry of Social Services indicated to us could do with some helping hands.
A significant impact in the communities in which we live. So that essentially is our mission.
I know the Rotary organization is 110 years old. What piqued your interest to join?
Well, I had a few friends who were attending, who were Rotarians actually, and who invited me to lunch. I liked what I heard at the meetings, and I especially like the fact that the focus of the club was giving back to the community. I thought it was a significant project, a significant undertaking, and I wanted to be a part of that.
All right, so let's talk about your progression to the presidency, because obviously you were part of that when you were just a member, but you are now president. What motivated you to take on that role?
I think every Rotarian has an opportunity to be president at some time during their membership. I joined the club over 10 years ago. I held various roles in various boards. I've been treasurer, I think, 3 times. I was also the vocational chair at one point, and now about maybe 2 years ago, I was approached about taking up the presidency, and eventually I accepted the challenge. And so I became president of the club on the 1st of July of last year, and my term of office will end on the 30th of June this year.
So what has been some of your highlights, Ms. Parry? Not only in your presidency, but in your 10 years in the club?
And well, first of all, making friends. St. Kitts is not my natural home. I am a Nivision by birth, and that's where I grew up. And when I moved to St. Kitts a number of years ago, I didn't know that many persons. And joining Rotary, the service organization, has expanded my network significantly. And I think that has been one of the most important aspects of being a Rotarian. In addition to that, Rotary undertakes projects around the entire island of St. Kitts. And that also helped me to learn the island, where certain areas were, where certain villages were. So from learning the geography and the location of villages and other neighborhoods, that was helpful. The most important, I think, highlights of the Rotary experience for me has been being involved in the projects. For example, the prostate screening project, which we started, I think, about 8 years ago. As a result of COVID, we were not able to execute that project for 2 years. But last year in July, we resumed in partnership with Dr. Dwayne Thwaites and the Masonic Lodge. They came on board as partners. We also had other sponsors. And last year in July, we were able to screen 449 men, which is the highest number that we have ever screened. And so that was a significant highlight in our Rotary year this year. In addition to that, we resumed some of our other projects. For example, in September, we did a independent care package distribution where we raised funds, and we used those funds to purchase a basket of goods. And we created, I think, about 25 packages, which we distributed around the entire island. We're trying to be environmentally conscious. So instead of having a cavalcade of cars going around the entire island, we split up into teams of 4, and each of us had an area. And so that way we cut down on our carbon emissions. And then annually at Christmas time, we try to do something we call Rotary Christmas Style. We visit the residents at the Cardin home, and we prepare lunch for them, and we also sing along with them, sing carols. This year, much to my astonishment, under the direction of a past president, Pierre Lister, who I call our choir master, we were asked for an encore. So I think they appreciated the time that we spent with them.
Lovely.
We also, during Christmas, distributed gifts to those children who live in foster care. And then last week, with the assistance of the Rotarians who were visiting us from the state of Pennsylvania, we did a second iteration of our care package distribution, focused though on the area between Connery and Buckley's. And on Wednesday of last week, we did the first phase of our dictionary project, which also had been on hiatus because of COVID. So we distributed dictionaries to each third grader in 6 schools. That's phase 1. Phase 2 will be the other primary schools on St. Kitts. And then phase 3 will be the primary schools in Nevis. So we've been pretty busy.
I know. Quite obviously,
Yeah.
but for very good causes.
Yes.
What can you tell us more about the collaboration between the Rotary Club of St. Kitts and the other districts?
Well, there were a group of Rotarians who were visiting us from Pennsylvania last week. And it was quite coincidental. Our past district governor, who is presently the director of foundations, Trevor Blake, he and his wife attended the international conference in Houston. And he was in a breakout session and happened to catch the eye of Rotarian Cindy from Pennsylvania. They got to talking, and as a result of that chat, she decided she would round up a few of her fellow Rotarians from Pennsylvania to visit us, and 11 of them came. They arrived not on Saturday, just gone, the Saturday before, and they spent the week with us. It was a very entertaining week, very meaningful one as well for them. They actively participated in our projects that we undertook, and we tried our best to keep them entertained. So we tried to give them some local flavor. On Sunday, we took them to lunch at Reggae Beach. And then on Wednesday, we took them to Spratnet. And finally, on Friday evening, we had a farewell where past President Scott Keynes hosted us at his home. Very generous of him. And we we gave them a sample of our local foods. So we're speaking of things like saltfish and Johnny cakes, cook up, smoked pork, which Scott has the right touch for, as well as black pudding, some sauce, real local food. So they had an authentic experience.
And the conch was there?
Conch?
Yes.
Not at that.
Okay.
But we did have goat water and corn soup.
I was just waiting for the black pudding. That's what I was waiting for.
And they enjoyed it.
Nice. Membership. Now that our listening audience would have heard what you've said, the good deeds that you do, how can one get into is it 2 clubs that are on St. Kitts or 3?
Yes, there are 2 Rotary clubs in St. Kitts. We are the Rotary Club of St. Kitts. We are the older of the 2 clubs. Okay. And then there is Rotary Club of La Amiga. Each club has social media channels, and you can express, someone who's interested in Rotary can express an interest by sending a message to one of the, I think, 3 channels. I think we maintain a Facebook page. We also have Instagram, and then you can contact any one of us. So I'm president. On my board is Vice President is Louisa Lawrence. Okay. Our Sergeant at Arms is Stacy Hobson. Deputy Sergeant at Arms is Neil Owen. Treasurer is Darrell Solomon. Secretary Alicia White. Assistant Secretary and Treasurer, pulling double duty, is Cara Daly. And then we have various directors. As I indicated before, Trevor Blake is our Director of Foundations. Dwayne Archibald, Dr. Dwayne Archibald, he is Director of Membership. Charles Morton is Director of Fundraising. The Director for Club Administration is Leah Crack-Chatterton. For New Generations, we have Director Ralph Felix. And if I've forgotten anyone, please forgive me.
I don't think you did. It's hard to even remember the way that you just did. So I'm grateful that you did that. Ms. Parry, it's been a pleasure learning more about the Rotary Club of St. Kitts. Thank you for joining us today for this edition of Good Morning SKN. Any final words to our public?
Essentially, just a few words. We've all been blessed in our lives. Nothing is without challenges, of course, but I think it is important for those of us in recognizing our blessings to try to pass them on. And I really do believe in service. So I encourage anyone, you don't have to join Rotary to be involved in giving back to your community. There are so many other avenues, but please do get involved.
Today we have with us visiting Rotarian District Governor Len Geisler and past District Governor Cindy Horniman from District 7430 of Southeast Pennsylvania. who are in the Federation as part of a joint initiative with the Rotary Club of St. Kitts. Welcome District Governor Len Geisler and past District Governor Cindy Horniman to Good Morning SKN. So
Thank you.
You are certainly welcome, and it's our pleasure having you. So my first question for you both, what is the focus of your travel to the Federation and how did the visit come about?
Well, first, how the visit came about is meeting Rotarians around the world is how we group together. So last year, our Rotary International Convention was in Houston, and myself and my husband went to an exchange breakout session. And I saw past District Governor from St. Kitts sitting with his wife, and we were talking about exchanges. And I looked and saw the sign St. Kitts, never been there. And I said, Trevor, hi, I'm Cindy. How would you like to get together and do something fun, but work on service? He said yes, and 6 months later, here we are. We have a group of 11 Rotarians from 4 clubs in our district. And the focus was to spend a week of fellowship, fun, and doing service projects with our fellow Rotarians.
And what about you, Len?
I was in the same trip in Houston, and then found out about St. Kitts trip, so I was definitely going to jump on this. My wife could not make it with me this time around, but I plan to be back. And so this is my first exchange with this group. A lot of these folks have gone on many of these type of exchanges before, so it was a real pleasure for me to come here and do service and really see the culture here in St. Kitts, and marvelous time so far.
Okay, you speak about service. What service were you involved during your time here on the island?
When we first got here, we put together 20 large bags of food items and personal items, and then we went out and canvassed the country in different cars and dropped off these bags to people that needed it more than we did, and that was our first project. And then Wednesday, we went to third grade school and handed out the dictionaries and had lovely interaction with the kids and had group pictures, and it was really fun. So that's good service that we do.
Indeed. And Cindy, you spoke about fun. What fun things have you brought down? I'll start with you since you've been on the island.
Rotarians love to have fun. And one of the things that we've been doing is not only getting to meet our fellow Rotarians, but lots of food. Island food is great. Lots of ribs, lots of fish, a few little drinks in between, and lots of laughing and good times.
Nice. So what stood out to you both since this is your first time to the island and since you've been on the island?
I think there's several things. The first, and not unexpected, but this island is special. The people are very welcoming. From when you walk down the street to not knowing anyone, people say hello. Also, even going in many of the more challenged areas of the country, it's clean. And I think there's a pride here, and I think all people of St. Kitts should be proud of your country.
The schools that you went to, you visited 6. As we mentioned before, you gave the dictionaries to 3rd grade students. Why was 3rd grade chosen?
It was one of the areas of focus in Rotary. There's 7 areas of focus, and one of them is basic literacy and education. And the dictionary project is actually a worldwide Rotary project where dictionaries are given primarily to elementary students, and the 3rd grade is selected because there's now some basic reading skills, and this can help them improve their reading skills.
Are there any plans to undertake any activities with the Rotary Club of St. Kitts in the future?
We haven't discussed future plans specifically, but we have invited all Rotarians to come to Pennsylvania on an exchange where we will host them in our homes as well as do service and fun, just in the talking stage.
And I found out that they do not want to come in the winter, so we're probably going to have them in September.
In the autumn or warm weather.
So what's next for you guys?
What's next? We we leave on Saturday. I'm actually going to play golf tomorrow.
Oh, nice.
And today we're going to relax, and then Friday night we have a farewell dinner at one of the past presidents' home.
Oh, nice.
And we're going to gather again, back together again, and again, have food, drink, party, like we've done pretty much every day since we've been here. So
that's nice.
it's been really fun.
So service and fun.
Yep, exactly. It's all about.
All right. Well, it was fun talking to you guys, and thank you for your service. And I hope when you visit sometime again, you'll come into our studio and we'll continue at this conversation.
That would be great.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So thank you so much, and continue to enjoy your time whilst here on St. Kitts.
Thank you. We will. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay.